Hello friends, I am Dr. Amarjit Kaur. I am Professor of Accounting and Business Communication in the Department of Management, Gurugram University, Gurugram. This is my privilege that I am here with you to discuss business report writing. So this is a very important topic because irrespective of your area of function, area of work, you are someday somewhere going to write a report for sure, irrespective of the industry you are working in, irrespective of the size of the company you are working with. So in all the conditions, there is a probability that in your lifetime you are going to write business reports. Maybe it could be a regular report, it could be a special report, it could be analytical report, any type of report. But one is likely to face business report writing. So with that perspective, it's very important that we understand what is business report, what are the types of business reports, and how do we write business report, what are the important points to be considered while writing a business report. Okay, so friends, business reports, they are considered to be highly structured form of writing. Highly structured form means there is a structured format, there is a prescribed guideline, there is a expected outcome out of a report. So whenever we have to share an information which is very authentic, which is factual, we should be using business report. There are certain conditions under which we use business reports. I will be discussing them later on. But to begin with, they are actually a formal written document. So business report is a written document. So it's a part of business communication, but written communication, right? So as I said, all kind of organization, it is not limited to any particular organization or industries, be it service industry or manufacturing industry, be it steel industry or the cement industry. They all need to, people working in those organizations, they all need to at some point of time, they need to write a business report. So important thing is then whenever we want to communicate authentic, authoritative and substantial information. So there's some information which is very substantial, substantive, right? Authoritative, somebody issued it, somebody wrote it after research, after work, after some test, after research and development, R&D exercise, etc., etc. So the information which is going to go into that document, which is a written document and which we call as business report, so that information has to be authentic, because this is the most formal way of communicating within the organization and outside the organization. Okay, so business reports are one of the top form written communication. We have so many written communication formats which we use in any business. We use email on a regular basis, we use notices, memos, there's brochures, pamphlets, proposals, business plans, but business report is the one of the top form of written communication a business takes place, right? So it's a structured written document which is written with the purpose of examining a specific issue. What could be the example? What could be the likelihood? So let's say we have been given that we want to vaccinate particular drug against any virus, people or the children who are below the age of 8 years. So this is a specific issue, to examine a specific issue. So a report may be prepared by all the concerned, by a committee, by a team who were working on that drug, together in isolation, separate reports depending upon what has been demanded for or required for. But here the specific issue is we have to take a call either to introduce that particular drug for a specific set of patient or specific set of people, which is here in this example, young children below the age of 8, right? There could be specific issue in a company whether to withdraw a particular product from a particular zone or area, not from the whole country or from the whole world, but from a particular area. So there could be some religious issue, social issue, some political issue that that particular product is not selling off in that area. So we want to examine that issue, that why is it that this product is not selling in that particular area. So this becomes a specific issue, because in general that product is doing very well. So business would require a report to be prepared basis on, of course, survey, interviews, field survey, and then to come up with why it is happening in that. So this is specific issue. So we could have many examples of specific issues in any business. So this is the first objective or the reason that why a structured written document, which we call as business report, will be required in a business. If we want to share findings, the second reason that why would a business report be written, we want to share findings, something we were working at, that was not a specific issue, we were just working in general. Let's say when the corona started in 2020 March, so there were so many companies who were working on developing vaccination. So when at that point of time they were not sure they will be able to come up or not, if yes, what will be the effectiveness of that drug, and if yes they are able to, then a particular group of people, who are the people whom we can give that particular drug, right, or vaccination, what should be the time interval between two vaccination, etc., etc. So there was just a research going on without having specific questions or specific agenda. It was simply that they were trying to find out some solution. They were not sure they will be able to come up with the vaccination or not. They were not sure they can give some oral drug or not. So just a research was going on. So, and to share the finding, a report is being sent, let's say, to the health ministry, to any concerned department or the concerned person in the company, right? Another motive behind writing a report could be to answer a request. Let's say government of a particular country requests the scientist to probe into the possibility of launching a particular drug, or probe into the possibility of launching a particular arm and emulation in that category, something like that. So there's a request which has been raised by a particular set of person or an organization, and we are trying to give answer, we are trying to explain or respond to that request by a report, right? So there was a request, let's say, by a manager to a junior person to find out that why should we introduce a product which is already existing in that market. So request to find out, will there be a demand of the product we have in our mind in a particular city or a country or a state. So there was a request to figure out something, right? So we just want to answer that request, and answer could be either way. Yes, there is a very strong possibility to have a good demand of that particular product. There is a very low possibility to have a good demand of that product. There's no such surety. It could be anything. A report may have anything. So it may have many sections. We will discuss about that. But just to answer the request to figure out something. People nowadays hire detectives with a request to find about a particular person who is prospective groom or a prospective bride, right? So that request was to find out the character, the family background, or the job, or whatever details we wish, to a detective agency about the prospective spouse of their ward, right? So there's a report which is coming up by the detective agency answering the request. So this is also a report, but of course to you who is seeking that, it could not be a business report, but to the company which is into the detective services, for them that is a business report, right? I hope that makes some sense to you. Then the another reason that why do we put up reports is we want to put forward some idea, or we want to make some recommendation or some solution. So let's say you thought of setting up a new division, sales division, distribution division for the product you are dealing with, and you are the area in charge. So you have to make a report giving a justification why would you need a new store, a new service center, or new distribution center in a particular area. So you're just putting forward your idea. It's just an idea. It was not a request made by anyone to whom you are answering. It was not a random research which was going on and you are trying to share the findings, and there was no specific issue given to you. You yourself just got an idea, after looking at, let's say, a website, and then you decided that I should be changing the design of my existing website, which is very, very let's say redundant, is not active, is not user friendly, or whatever the reason you may have in your mind. So there was no request came to you, there was no issue given to you, you just came across a good idea to launch a very interactive website for your company. So you are now making a report, giving the reasons, the current situations, why, the financials, some graphs, some results, some data from others company who are using the interactive website, etc., etc. Right? So you are putting forward an idea through the report you are preparing. Okay? Some recommendations. You just have to make recommendations. So a report is there by a scientist who invented a drug. Right? They gave it to the business owner. Now that MD is making a recommendation to the government. So there is another new report. So the report which was first prepared by scientists, by a team who was working on a particular drug or area. So there was a report which was very elaborative, very long, formal report or maybe informal one. And now you are putting up another report to the concerned organization or the department or the ministry with your recommendation as managing director of the company, saying this drug is expected to prove very well for dealing XYZ disease. Right? So recommendations are coming forward through that report, which will not be as lengthy as was the first report submitted by scientists. Okay? Or you just want to offer some solution, let's say you are very, very fond of green environment. You are promoting green environment around you, and you have been gathering some information on the death of plants, on the death of animals, on the declining number of a particular breed of birds who were generally visiting in the past. So you are offering a solution. I was just watching a documentary last day. We have nest man in India, right? We have a nest man of India. The person who really builds nests with certain waste. He involves kids, NGOs, companies, people as well to prepare those nests and put those nests in the different area of the city, especially in Delhi. So the person is offering solution so that the birds who were coming naturally, they continue coming to the spaces they were coming in the past. So he is offering solution. He prepares a report, submits it to the government of India or government of Delhi, saying that this is the problem and I wish to offer this solution, and please allow me or give me some funding or give me permission to do so in X area, Y area. So that's what the report is all about. So report will talk about the past experience, will talk about the numbers, it will talk about the problem and the solution the person is giving in the form of preparing those nests and putting up those nests at the concerned point. Right? So there could be any reason why we prepare a structured written document named as business report. So business reports can be used for inter-organizational or intra-organizational purpose. It means I can communicate with the help of report within my organization or outside with anybody outside my organization. The example, a lawyer, a detective agency preparing a report for the client is an inter-organization. But the same report which was prepared by the team and presented to the senior most person, it was intra. Same way any other report could be true. So a report can be used both for inter-organizational as well as intra-organizational purposes. And it serves as a tool, as a medium to communicate authentic, authoritative information, to the key constituents of the organization. Whosoever is the key constituent, to them we can share the information authentically, effectively. Okay, so this is what the business report is. Now we will talk about types of business reports. What are the types of business reports we have around? So there could be many categories of business reports. I am going to put them, for the sake of better understanding, I am going to put the business reports under two categories, according to functions and according to formality. So according to function, we have 5 types here: regular or periodic reports, informational reports, analytical report, research report, and special report. As per formality, we have 2 types: statutory reports and non-statutory reports. Right? So friends, we will discuss in detail about all these types in the next few minutes. A regular or periodic report, what does it mean? A regular report is the one which a business need to prepare on a regular interval, on a regular period. This interval could be any duration. It could be weekly, it could be bi-weekly, it could be fortnightly, it could be monthly, it could be yearly, it could be 5-yearly, right? So let's take few examples. So the regular report, for example, is sales report. Most of the companies have a practice to get data about the sales of all the products they deal in on weekly basis. It could be monthly or fortnightly basis as well, right? So for monthly basis, certainly most of the majority of the businesses, they compile for sure on monthly basis. The businesses which are operating at a high scale, they may or they have in actual weekly reports. So at a certain interval, the regular report. So regular report coming, say let's say every Monday a report is coming from the sales head to the sales general manager about the sales being achieved for all the products for the territory he is heading, for North America, for North India, North Asia, whatever. Okay, so like that. So there could be another example of regular report, the cash amount, the cash status, right? The debtors management, under that we prepare report on weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. So if a company deals in credit sales, so the company may have regular periodic report of the debt collection. So that is a regular report, periodic report, which happens on regular basis for any function of the business. Informational report, the report which is prepared to give or to share certain information. Now this information could be demanded, or simply I as a department head, area head, product head, whichever the capacity I am authorized for, I am sharing some information because I believe that information is important for someone in the business. It could be your immediate boss or boss to the boss, etc., etc. So information is being shared. Okay, so we call it as informational report. So here in this report, there is no analysis, just the factual figure. Let's say there is a demand coming from one department, HR or establishment, trying to know about all the employees who joined in the last year and have published some research paper. So a report has been prepared by the office giving the detail of all the employees joined the last year and have published papers. So this is informational report, just answer to the query regarding a particular information. It could be the salary structure, it could be the leave status. Simply the manager wants to know during the end of the year What is the leave status? How many leaves everyone in the team has left with? Why? Because he want to rationalize the allocation of leaves during the last week of December when the year is ending. So that is just an informational report, right? The third report is analytical report. So the analytical report is, if I just get sales data every month, every week, that is just a regular report. But the same sales data, if a general manager of sales demands to find out reason for declining sale of a product and rising sale of a product in a particular area, it will be known as analytical report. Here some analysis is been carried, reasons are figured out, are trying to are being worked out and being shared. So some analysis has been carried over. So that report becomes analytical. So the same sales report, if analyzed for the reasons of declining or rising sales, becomes analytical report. I hope that example is clear to you. Then we have research report. The report coming out of a research work which was going on. The research, when you are carrying over some research, you are not sure about the outcome. You are not sure you will be able to provide solution to the problem you are studying at. Very much true for the COVID vaccination development. The research report for certain companies was good, certain companies it wasn't good, right? Those companies are businesses, they are pharmaceutical companies only. Okay, so the research report is the one which actually carries over the research by applying certain analytical tools, by using certain data, by using certain research methodology, and then putting up the findings and conclusion. So if a report is written after carrying certain research, after using some methodologies, using some statistical tools, and then sharing the outcome, that is findings and conclusion, that report will be known as research report. Okay, the last one under this category basis on the function is special report. What is the special report? This is not a regular routine report. A very exceptional case, let's say there is a death in a particular stampede during any holy visit to a particular monument, a particular mandir or gurdwara or church. So there's a report prepared by a special team who was trying to figure out what happened, why does it happen. This is not a regular report, though it carries information, it is analytical as well. It is so this is known as special report, which is just not sharing the information, but some analysis has been carried out as well as some research is carried out. So some special report has these features. Then according to formality, we have statutory report. So the report which is written for the purpose of statutory compliance. If all the companies which are registered and have a public listing, they are supposed to be publishing their annual report of performance, their annual report, right? So that is a legal compliance. So that report which is about the financials, profit and loss account, balance sheet, etc., that is actually your statutory report. So we are complying to some statutory requirement. There are certain companies which need to publish a cash flow statement as well. Not every company needed to. So that is a statutory requirement. So you are publishing that report and you are putting it up on the website, submitting to the registrar of companies. It's a statutory report. Then we have non-statutory report as well. So the non-statutory report, what are the examples here? So it is done for the sake of formality, but it is not it is not meant for compliance. Let's say you prepared a report to establish that the pollution's level or pollution remittance from the your particular plant is less, is not that high, it's not very risky. You just prepare a report and submit it to a particular department. Or let's say a government invited, a particular ministry invited suggestions from industry people, from businesses. They are going to launch a new scheme. They are going to launch declare economic special economic zones, SEZs. They are going to decide about the subsidy amount. So there was a notification circulated on the website, and just to you as a company decided to participate in that by responding to the notification. It was not mandatory, it was not a mandate for you as one particular company, mind you. The reforms company, the government or the ministry was thinking for a particular sector, industry, and you incidentally work in that industry, but you consciously decided to share certain details about that notification because you think they are important. So it's a formal report because you are going to submit to the government of India, ministry, or any other government for that matter, but it is not statutory in nature because it was not a mandate or compliance requirement for you, right? I hope you could differentiate between two. The report, the financial reports, the audited ones, published reports, they are statutory reports. A company issues every year, right? But the second example where you are just submitting a report which is a formal report, but that was not required, it was just a generic notice given to all the companies and you chose to submit your feedback. So this is a non-statutory report. So I hope you are clear about what business reports are. Why do we prepare business reports, means what is the objective of preparing business report, and lastly what are the types of business reports. With this I would like to end this session. Thank you very much for being with me. Thank you.